So let's get into the double close real quick because I want to break this down because a double close is one of the most important parts of my business. Okay. A double close is if you have a property under contract. Okay. You have your contract with the seller, you have your contract with the buyer. You're ready to close. The title work is clear. We're getting to the closing date. So instead of doing an assignment of contract, which is how you would usually do a wholesale deal, meaning you're assigning your contract to an investor. You're assigning the paperwork. That means you're just basically selling the rights to it, okay? With a double close, you're almost actually buying the property yourself. And once again, you're not using your money. So let me explain that to you. Seller A, seller is going to be A, okay? B is going to be, or C is going to be the investor, and you're the letter B, okay? So seller A comes to the closing table, right? They're ready to close. They asked for $100,000. You agreed. They're waiting for $100,000. Buyer C over here, your investor that you found that wants to buy the property for $110,000. Well, let's say $140,000 because I want to let you know why we double close. Buyer C has $140,000 to buy your deal. So, question is, do you really want your seller knowing that you're going to make $40,000 on that deal? And they're making 100,000, so you're almost making 50% of what they're making, and it's their house. On the investor side, do you want your investor to know that you're making $40,000, and after he has to flip the property for 6 to 8 months to a year, do you want him to know that you're making $40,000? He might. Sometimes that ruffles some feathers. Investors usually don't care. They're like, hey, I'm cool with the numbers. I'll take your deal for 140K, and they get out the way. Yeah, you damn sure don't want them to know. And your seller, you definitely don't want them to know because they're going to say, well, hold on, why don't I get the $40,000? Instead of explaining to them, well, I had to market your property, I had to take pictures, I had to get the value, I had to find the rehab costs, I had to put it into a marketing package, I had to market to my buyers, I had to negotiate with the buyers, I had to make sure their money was solid, I had to talk to the title company, I had to do this, and that. See, they ask all them questions because you're not a realtor. Realtors, they halfway even do that much. They really don't do that much. Wholesalers do a lot of work to get a deal closed. Simple work, but we get shit done, and you don't have time to explain that to a seller. They really gonna get confused and don't care. Blase blah. They want $100,000. That's all they know. That's all you need to talk about. Talk about the money. That takes care of the seller. Boom. So when you double close, when you assign a contract, your assignment fee goes on the paperwork called the HUD statement for the seller to see and for the investor to see. So they both will see your fee if you assign it. So if it's a $5,000, I usually don't go over like $10,000 if I'm gonna assign a property, because when you get to 10,000 and up, they're like, well, hold on, you getting $10,000? And once again, you don't have all the time in the world to explain. I do a lot of shit for you. I get paid like it weighs. You know what I mean? You don't have time to explain all that. They don't ask realtors all that. When they sign documents to get with a realtor, they know they gotta, give the 3%, 6% commission fee, whatever's on there. And there's a big, as you can tell, you saw my last post, big ass lawsuit on these real estate companies who hate on wholesalers, but they've been getting over commissioning billions of dollars. So as a wholesaler, unfortunately, or an investor, I don't like to call myself a wholesaler. As an investor, and I'm buying your property, I don't want to have to explain to you why I get the fee I get, because I did a lot of work. I got the title done, talked to the attorneys, found the buyers, all that. So you don't need to know all that. You want this price? Cool. So when I assign, it's typically less than $9,000. A buyer sees or a seller sees that, they're like, oh, okay, he probably got his little commission off of it or whatever. But deals that are large deals, when you have a nice, beautiful deal that you put together and you're making 20,000, 30,000, 80,000. I've seen $100,000 deals where 100,000 is the profit. You do not want your seller to know. You don't want your buyer to know, because your buyer also is gonna be like, hold the fuck up. You taking money out my pocket. They get in their feelings some type of way sometimes. That's none of their business, because you said you liked my price at 100,000, right? So you know what you are at 140,000, right? So you know what you was gonna do at 140,000. Don't ask me all them other questions. You knew you gonna buy it at 140, put 100K, and you're gonna make 100K on the back end. But now you want my 40K too, and I had to do all the work to get you the deal. That's usually how it works. Most investors really don't care. Give them the right number. They don't even ask. Okay. But me, if it's over $10,000, I'm not disclosing that to the buyer or the seller. That's my information. I did what I needed to do. I put the contract together. You said you're okay with this number. And I do it ethically too. Let me put that in there. Don't try and just, I don't go over and scam people and try to be like, well, I'll only give you $10,000 and I know it's worth more. I'm gonna have a reasonable conversation with them. I'm gonna let them know their options. You can go to the realtor. They're gonna have to do an appraisal. They're gonna have to do an inspection. They're gonna have to do this. They're gonna have to do that. And so you can go to the realtor, test the market out, see what happens. You might have to fix a few things up, come out of pocket, and, sell the property. But as an investor, I'm going to tell the seller, as an investor, I have to buy this property to where I can put money into it and make some money back. I'm not here to run game on you. That's what the name of the game is. And sellers usually understand that too. They'll understand that. They'll be like, yeah, you do got to make some money. I understand. Sellers don't understand like rehab costs, things of that nature. So you really got to gauge what the property is. You got to kind of know your rehab costs a little bit, even if you have to bring a contractor or a friend with you, someone who knows about it, and you want to break down the property. If they tell you a number, great. See what you can do with their number. But your offer is going to be what you can do to make some money and let the investor eat too. So there's ethics involved with it. You're helping people. Like if an old lady needs money and she needs a surgery or something like that, are you going to just try and scrape her dry for every dollar she got for her house? If you do that, I feel like you're a piece of shit. You should fall off the end of the earth. But that's to each his own. Real estate game's real sharky like that. So you gotta weigh it out with your heart, but you gotta keep it business too. So the double close once again is, boom, seller says they want $100,000 for the property. You're like, okay, bet, contract signed, send it to the title. Buyer said, Mike, I'll pay $145 for that property. We can close in 5 days, 10 days. Boom, contract to the title company. So you got seller ready to receive their money. Your buyer has their money ready. The buyer sends their money to the closing attorney. It'll be held in escrow. It's like a little bank for real estate. It's called escrow. It's going to hold the money up there. So when y'all meet at the closing table, A, B, and C, A, B, and C, C's funds are going to pay for A seller's property, and you collect the money in the middle. So you get that 45,000 chunk in the middle. Now, the beauty is your seller will not see that, because they're selling on your HUD statement. It's called a HUD statement when you close a real estate property. Your HUD statement is going to show your name and you buying the property. Like you literally took the $100,000 out yourself, bought the property. So you purchased the property for about 30 minutes. After that occurs, your title company will have paperwork in place as you be the owner and see the new buyer making the transaction from 145, 100 to 145. So they don't see nothing and they don't see what you're making. No one can be mad at you, right? Beautiful. There's some little fees involved, transaction fees. Depending on how you pay for the property, you can also get transactional funding, meaning a whole outside company or someone with private money puts the $100,000 down for you for a 1 to 2% fee usually. So if it's $100,000, they want $1,000 for the fee for loaning their money for 30 minutes to an hour. There's transactional funding, and then there's title companies that do double escrow closing. So just like what I explained, wholesale, it is all done through the title company. No money is ever passed in no hand, no Ziploc bag, no brown bag, no duffel bag, no checks. It goes, if it is a check, it's going to the title company. It's an official attorney title company. And I use different ones in different states. There's mobile ones. There's ones that are just online. So, but you have to do your research and make sure they know what the hell they're doing. So when you call these companies, you got to look for investor-friendly title companies.